Hello, this is John, Vintage Fisherman. Look at here, another ultralight. This is a Shakespeare 2052. Something's loose in there. Something's loose in there. Let's take the handle off. And we'll clean the handle up. We'll take the spool off. Some of these 2052s you can service the drag, and some you have to fight with. This one's got that star thing on there, so let's see what we can do with that. You get up under that and you just start working your way around. See what I'm doing here? I'm just kind of getting a hold of those ears. It pops out eventually, and then you can pull your drag out and serve. That drag is beautiful. Look at that. I swear this really ain't been used. I say that a lot, but it really doesn't look like it's been used. All right, let's take it apart. There's a problem inside this reel. I can tell you that right now. It doesn't have that feel to it, you know. Don't have that solid, everything's okay in here feel. So we'll see what's gone wrong. These 2052s are solid reels. They're every bit as good as a Penn 716, with the exception of the plastic spool. I'm not a fan. I've never seen one cracked due to line squeezing. That cause you don't put real heavy line on it. Why is that thing so loose? Well, I think we can make it work. You pull this pin out right here after you take the cover off, and you pull this axle shaft out. Well, okay, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Why is it holding it up like that? There it goes. It's got junk on it. So we're going to tap that back in, and then we'll make a run at it here. There it goes. I'm going to go ahead and take that screw out while I can get to it easily here. That's for your cross wind lever. Somebody's been into it. Oh, wow. Well, we ain't taking that out. So I have to get cleaned up with that on there. Somebody really... Well, it could be from the factory too, so I can't say somebody did that. Okay. There's a felt down in there that holds the oil, so I can't get a hold of it there. Why is it not wanting to come out? Somebody tried to work on this thing and fix it and didn't know what they were doing. And I'm not saying I know much more than they did, but I'm going to give it a shot. There we go. But you can see a lot of scratch marks up in here. All right, we'll clean that up. Let's take... so to get this spool off, there's a tab that you got to get a hold of and bend down out of your way. it can sometimes be a pain. That's a hell of a retainer. You're going to have to find something to pound it flat with. Take a hammer and a punch, pound it down out of the way. There. Excuse me. You get it down far enough, it's a retainer tab. It's in there wrong too. That's part of the problem with this reel. They put this thing together wrong. We'll fix it as we go back together. That tab, we'll show you here. The tab was in there like this. It's supposed to be in there like that. And so the spool wasn't all the way down flat, and that's part of where that play was coming from. Now to remove the main, the worm gear, you got to have a pair of these. These are Craftsman 38079 snap ring pliers. They work pretty good with these reels. And watch that snap ring, it will go flying. Now, the next problem is that bearing sticks inside this housing. So, I put the I put the nut back on there. And I take my tweezer needle, whatever, and I just get up under it, very carefully pry that out. And there's the whole housing. I don't need to take that stuff out. I can clean all around that. And take that rotor nut back off. We're going to get that bearing off of there because I want to clean this really, really well. You can put this in an old socket. You see me do it on the Damn Quick in that video. Put it in here. These are a lot easier to get out than the Damn Quicks. But that's how you do that. That's a handy, just have a socket on your workbench that you can work these smaller bearings on and off with. I tried to pre-order a bearing for this thing because I noticed the bearing's not very good. So let's just see. And it's not going to be millimeters. So we're going to go to inch. And the inside diameter is 250. So that's 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I need a pen. So we're 1/4 by the outside diameter is 625. Oh, I got to do math now. 625 is 3/8. Is that right? I'm using my phone, so I don't have the calculator. 625. Well, I can look at it. These are standard bearings, so 625 is going to be 7/16. No. Oh, what am I thinking? Anything over 5 is over half, so it's 5/8. Okay. I'm stupid sometimes. 5/8. 625 is 5/8. Yep, you're right. Been a while since I've worked in a machine shop. And then your 2. Which I think is going to be 3/16. 200. If I could use my dang calculator. One, 2, 5/16. No, that ain't right. 30 seconds. 3/16. It's 3/16. So I'm going to order some bearings for this thing. Probably from Fast Eddie's. They didn't have the bearings listed for this reel. I mean, it ain't horrible, but it ain't smooth either. And I might fish with this reel. So anyway, we got the main part of the reel apart here. We'll clean that up. Let's take the rotor apart. I went completely dumb on my math on that. I apologize. And so the nice thing about these reels is the side over here, it just hooks in. You can take that out. Now I took the roller out, the line roller out of it. You can take this out. I'll show you how to do it. If you really want to go for a deep cleaning here, you know, that's my mojo on these reels. I'm a deep cleaner. You can put some leather around that. Get you a pair of pliers. Put the pliers on the leather and take it loose. That way you don't put any teeth mark in that part. Comes right out. You can clean those teeth up, or those threads. Gosh, listen to me. Nice thing about these reels, just like the Damn Quick that I recently did, you can throw that lever and it goes into the travel mode, which takes all the pressure off the bail spring. So easy to service. You can literally change the bail spring on this reel with your Leatherman on the side of the pond, creek, wherever. You could put another bail spring in if you had to. We're going to leave that in there. That doesn't hurt a thing. I can clean it in place. That's the reel. I'll order a bearing if I can get a bearing, and I'll be back. Hello, this is John. I'm back on this nice old 2052 in a few days. Remember, I had to order, in the first half video, I had to order a bearing. This bearing wasn't terribly trashed, but for $9 off of Amazon, I got these A5s. I would put a link, but I don't know. I tried to figure out how to do that with my YouTube videos, and I don't know. It eludes me. But let's just see if this will work. I've got my caliper set in inches. The original bearing, 0.195 thick. My new bearing is 0.195 thick. My original bearing, ID 2480. My new bearing, ID, is 2465. Do I have it in there good? Yes. So that makes this one smaller by barely. I mean, 10, no, it's not even a 10 thousandths. It was, that's right at a quarter there. I guess it's probably depending on where I'm getting a good measurement at. Yeah, that's slightly under a quarter of an inch. A 10,000th of an inch. Not quite a 10,000, about a half a 5 thousandths of an inch. Okay, so my OD is 624, and OD on this one is 624. So it should be the same bearing, right? Let's take a look at it. It goes on this shaft. I mean, feels pretty good to me. That bearing's really free. Wow. Maybe I don't need to replace it. Look at that. I guess I didn't check it very good before, or I just wanted to spend money. But that was only $9.99 for that whole thing of bearings. There's 10 of them in there. So I can fix a lot of fishing. I'm going to try the new bearing. You know, I'll keep the old one. I'll keep it with those. So I know it's that size. I am going to put just a little bit of oil in the new bearing. If it doesn't run free enough, I'll change it. Okay, where do we start? Let's start over here on the rotor. The thing cleaned up really well. It's got some rash, you know, from years of fishing. I like reels with experience. Maybe they'll help me catch a fish. We put that's a counterweight, and it's also where the bail wire mounts into. And then you got to get some grease down in that pocket where that spring goes, and put that spring in there. The little L on it there goes into that. They only go one way, folks. I'll wake up here in a minute. Then you have to hook that on there. And it can be a little bit of a pain. We're going to put this on here. What did I do wrong? That's not right. I'll get it right in a minute, folks. Hang on. Do I have the bell upside down? I might have the bell lever or bell arm upside down. Hang on just a minute. That can be a little challenge sometimes. Yeah, that's what it was. There we go. Yeah, you know, I just had my coffee. I swear I did. So once you get that in there, this is how it works. You crank the reel around and it fires. Okay. Easy enough, right? That's still pretty dirty. I just cleaned my tank up. It sometimes still doesn't. It needs to be polished too. I remember I had trouble getting that roller off there. First part of the video, so let's polish that up just a little bit. And we'll give it a little bit of oil. And in your roller. Get a little bit more oil. So you'll hook this in. You don't need to put any oil or anything over here. It's not going to get hung up. And put that into the bail arm right there. And it just gets, I don't think it had a, sometimes they have a star washer, but this is a lock nut. So it just goes on there. And they put a lock nut on these things so you can adjust how tight it is to make sure that roller, but you don't want the bail wire to be wobbly in there. You just snug it up, basically. That's what I'm trying to get out of my half-awake mouth. Okay, so the rotor's done. These parts go, well, this goes with the pinion, and these two go right here. Okay. Like I said, we're going to use the new bearing, so it's smooth. I don't know. That other one something just didn't feel right to me when I first started working on it. I'm going to oil all this stuff up pretty good. And definitely want to put a little grease in there where that bearing sits so it doesn't get stuck like it was when I took this reel apart. And then we're going to leave it. These are very simple reels, folks. This would be a good reel to cut your teeth on if you want to play with a reel repair. This is a really good one. Just pay attention how you take it apart, and you'll be fine. And this is a good segue right here into more modern reels that have similar designs. A pin 716 and this reel are identical almost. They're not the same reel by any means, but the engineering is very, very close. So we're going to push that down in there, make sure it's in there good. And then we're going to put the snap ring in. Remember, I had to use a pair of snap ring pliers. These are Craftsman. I went over that at the beginning of the video. Just hold that snap ring. You get it into the pocket, and then you'll have to just kind of tuck it in there with something until it spreads. Okay. This thing. We're going to grease it up. I was a little bit worried about this reel, but I didn't see any issues with it once I started tearing into it. But it felt funny. But I also know that the rotor was not properly installed on it. And we're going to show you how to do that too. But just grease this gear up. Make sure you get the grease down in the teeth really good. I don't guess you could really over grease this thing, but you don't want to under grease it. We'll put it in there just a little bit, and then you're going to drop some oil on it. All right. We're going to stop right there. We'll put the rotor on. While you're holding everything together, because it will try to fall apart, put just a dab of grease on there. Your rotor, for now, it just kind of sits on there. The rotor doesn't have a key to it, but this is the key. So you put that in there and rotate it. Well, I got it upside down. No, I did what the last person did. And then they just went with it instead of fixing it right. It should sit in those two slots flush. And then you can put your rotor nut on it. It's standard thread or standard rotation thread. You have to get that part right. And you'll rotate that around to where, yeah, I'm about to get this one pretty dang tight, so I'm going to be careful I don't twist the shaft. You get it around to there, and you need to pick, I don't know if I can do it with the tools I got here in front of me or not. Yeah, I might have should have gave it a little kick. Back it up just a little bit and see if I can do that. Yeah, so we'll try that. And then what you do is you just take your pliers. Let's make sure it's not, no, it's not too loose. And you'll bend, if you can. You gotta be careful here. You could really do some damage if you're not careful. Because that piece is really, it's really stout. It doesn't want to bend, but it has to bend. And it's not going to bend for me, I don't think. I don't know. I don't want to tear anything up, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to bend it. I don't have the right tools. No, I'm going to end up tearing it up. I don't think I'm going to worry about bending that. It's supposed to be there to keep the rotor nut from backing off, but I don't think I'm going to be able to without, I'm probably going to tear this up. I mean, let's try something here. I'm not done yet. Let's try this. There we go. I got it. And I didn't tear anything up. So I put some leather on there to protect the side of this. And I just pried that little tab up. Okay, back in business. I did notice that this piece of leather is really dried out. So we're going to put some cowls on that. That cowls will keep that leather alive for a long time. This has leather. It has a leather drag in it. All the washers are leather. We'll put this in there. Let's make sure I don't have any burrs. Give it a little bit of oil. Bring it down to the arm and line the hole up in it. Drop this pin in, if you can get it to drop in there. I've missed it. Missed it. There we go. Let's put that pin in. We're pretty much done in here. But yeah, I couldn't get this lever arm off. This screw is Loctite in on these things, so you just kind of got to deal with that. But smear some grease on that. Then you can put your cover back on. We're pretty much done with this reel. That's how simple. That's why I say this is a good one to start out on. It's just so much fun. I think this is the first reel I ever took apart. No, it was probably a Daiwa, but still, this was one of the first ones. I used to repair reels for people, and I collected these old Royal Maroons back in the day, and then I sold off my collection. Now I'm not really collecting the whole series, but I definitely like these ultralights. I've got several in my collection. Oh, that screw just broke. Look at that shit. Oh my gosh. Well, folks, I wasn't even trying hard and broke a screw. Good news is I got spare parts. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut the camera off. This will come out. It literally was broke when I put it in there. Just didn't know it. But there. All right, I'm going to cut the camera and I'm going to go find a screw for that. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. That didn't take as long as I thought. I found a whole box of these reels up there in various states of broke. So let's put some grease right there. I just know, see where it rubs that cover? I'll give it a little bit of grease right there. Yeah, I had a couple of them up there, so actually about 4 of these reels up there with missing this or missing that. I could probably make a couple more reels out of those reels if I wanted to. But you got to keep spares if you're going to own these things. It's not like they still make parts for them. See there, right there, when you broke that, if you were at home and you broke that screw and you didn't have those spare parts, you're not going to find this screw at hardware. Now, these reel manufacturers love to put screws on that are not standard hardware, or it might be standard pitch thread, but it's not going to be something you can find just anywhere. It's the head on the screw is going to be different or whatever. So, best of luck to you if that happens. You're going to have to go on eBay and buy you a parts reel, more than likely. Handle, give it a little bit of oil. There's a felt down in there that soaks up the oil. And when you put this handle on, it pushes that oil into the case, into the shaft. And this is the correct handle. Some of them had, different years had different handles. This is a 1966 model. This reel is the same age as me. All right, why does it sound like that? Got a knock to it. You hear it? That's not the rotor bearing. That's a gear. It might get better. Lord have mercy, it's always something. That's a place on the gear, more than likely. We'll see if we can identify it in here. I do have more gear sets. If I have to put one in it, I will. The problem is we're going to have to figure out if it's the worm gear or the main gear. Let's cut the anti-reverse off. It appears to be the worm gear. Because it happens on the road in relative to the rotation of the rotor. Yeah, it's that worm gear. I think I'm going to let it be. I think I'm going to do more harm than good trying to fix it. It'll wear in. It won't wear out. Not as super smooth as I'd like for this reel to be to fish with it, but it'll be okay. The more I fish with it, the better it will get. If I don't like it, I can always come back and grab another gear set out of one of my used reels and It'll be fine. These Shakespeare's, the older stuff, they all have date codes on. This is a model EE, which is 1966. If you were wondering where I got that number from, I didn't just draw it out of there. It's actually written on the reel, or stamped into the reel. See, it's just got that little. It could be that bearing. It's something related to the rotor. That's a brand new bearing, though. Okay. It's smooth otherwise. Nothing's loose. Okay, well, we're going to not nitpick and just move on. I've already put line on it. This is a 4-pound Cajun. Everybody picks on my Cajun line and will tell you it's good stuff. All right, let's put the drag back together. I put the line on before I put the drag on because on this spool, you can't, it's not easy to take this back out. And every time you take it out, you risk messing it up. So we're going to build the drag up on it. These are leather drag washers, so they're getting cows. You got a leather drag goes in, and a steel drag, and then another leather. And then you get the eared washer goes in. And then another leather. So I was just a baby. Maybe. I may not even been into this world yet when this reel was made. Depending upon what part of 1966 it made it here. Or I made it here. So to put this back in there, it's a little bit tricky. I usually use a socket of some sort. Just find something that will halfway fit on it. And just push it down in like that. And that's it. The reel is done. Not a big fan of plastic spool. Penn had it all over Shakespeare on that. But drag's working. That's about all the drag you'd ever need out of this reel right there. I don't know why people think they got to stop a drag completely when, light test. But of course, people are using braid now, so I don't know. I only use braid in certain circumstances. I'm coming around to it some, but I don't know if I'll ever be a fan. Other than it's got a little knock in it. I mean, it sounds like a Chevrolet. Ooh, I just made the Chevy guys mad. Maybe it's a Ford. Could be a Dodge. Nah, it's going to be fine. It's smooth enough where I'd fish with it, not even paying attention to that. Whatever's doing that will go away. It could be that bearing. You hear it? I believe it's the bearing. it'll get better. You get out in the sunlight, get it good and hot, and use it, and it will be fine. So here's the size of the bearing. 1/4 ID, 5/8 OD, 3/16 thickness. So if you need to order bearings, you can go on Amazon and you type in those numbers. It'd be 250, 0.250 by, what was it, 680 something, I can't remember. Because they're not going to give you those dimensions in fraction. When you go on Amazon, you're not getting those dimensions in fraction. So your ID is 248, which is 250, 1/4. And your OD, 625. It was 5/8. 5/8 is just over 1/2 inch, right? So 1/2 inch is 500, 0.5. This is 0.624. And then your thickness is 0.2. It's actually 194 or 195, but it's 0.2 of an inch. So it's 3/16. So that's how you come up with that. I had to convert it because I'm not good at math. I'll throw that over here in my stack of bearings. Here's how I buy my bearings now, folks. I buy them off Amazon. I got tired of spending $20 on one bearing from Boca, and then you order it from someplace on Amazon. It's the same damn bearing you get a whole stack of them for $9. So just something to think about, I guess. Yeah, here's another thing of brand new bearings. So anyway, there is a 1966 model. Oh, it's getting smoother already. Shakespeare Royal Maroon 2052. It's ready to go fishing. I'm building up my ultralight arsenal here. I added this dam, which was probably the video right before this one. I haven't put line on this one yet. That's a little gem right there. But just look at the comparisons. I mean, they're about the same size. This would be as ultralight as you got back in those days. You can get a much smaller reel now, a much lighter reel. The problem with lighter reels is they don't balance on a rod very good. These heavier reels, you can put these on a 6'6", 7-foot rod and it will balance beautiful. Even modern rod. You put a modern reel on a 7-foot rod that's, say, a 500 or 1,000 size reel, it doesn't feel right. It's too tipped forward. I can't cast that crap. Okay, well, that's me on a rant. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and take a kid ultralight fishing. I'll see you on the next video.